Hello. Good evening, madam. Welcome, Kyvalya ma'am. Good evening, madam. Welcome.
Sir,
Madam, we'll be starting in 2 minutes. So people are joining. So we'll start in a couple of minutes.
sure, sir.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Puja Lakshmi. Yeah. We'll be starting in late in 30 seconds. We'll start, please.
Hello, sir. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you're audible. Yeah, please start.
A very good evening to one and all. Let me introduce myself. My name is Pooja Lakshmi, and today I invite each and every one of you to embark on this transformative journey of professional growth, collaboration, and innovation. Let's embrace the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century, guided by the expertise of the speaker. Together, we can shape the future of legal education. Welcome to the first ever 1 month national level online faculty development program on teaching law in the 21st century, a collaborative effort between Law Teachers India and Gujarat Maritime University, Gandhinagar. This program is a testament to our shared commitment to advance legal education and preparing India educators for the challenges and opportunities of 21st century. Today with us, we have our faculty coordinator, Dr. Nisha Amol Chauhan. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Pooja Lakshmi. Am I audible? Okay. A very warm greeting to one and all present here for this 1 month national level online faculty development program on teaching law in 21st century edition first, organized by Law Teacher India and Gujarat Maritime University, Gandhinagar. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our today's speaker who is going to share her knowledge about strategies for teaching legislative drafting in Indian law school. Today, we have the opportunity to learn the technique of teaching an exciting and challenging subject. The subject, legislative drafting, is like a grammar and rule of composition, difficult to remember, but when followed by individual inspire to develop creativity and skill to pen drafting, in particular legislative drafting. Intelligence, memory, and judgment may be the assets of advocate, but a draftsman should have skill and art with a sense of good drafting. Our today's resource person will talk on this topic. It's my privilege to introduce today's eminent resource person, Dr. Kyvalya Garikapati ma'am. Dr. Kyvalya ma'am is working as an associate professor of law and associate dean academics in KIT University, Bhubaneswar. She is having more than 15 years of experience in teaching and research in the area of constitutional law and administrative law. She taught several subjects like Indian federalism, affirmative action, service law, media law, comparative constitutional law, and legislative drafting. She co-authored a book on administrative law and published many book chapters and journals articles in reputed national and international journals. She finished her LLM with gold medal and PhD from Acharya Nagarjuna University. On behalf of my entire team, I welcome to you, ma'am, to share the knowledge with us. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nisha. I'm overwhelmed with your beginning words, welcome words. To talk about this program, I have been constantly observing the work of Law Teachers India through this Law Teachers group, and I admire the work, whatever till now. And also, I wish good luck to this team to progress in this in all endeavors. I wish you good luck. So talking about this particular program, that is FDP, that too, the one and only, the first time, 1 month online FDP program initiated by the Law Teachers India in collaboration with Gujarat Maritime University. This, when I heard about this, I thought, okay, this long 1 month program maybe not that much successful because of the long duration, because consistently having that kind of attention from the audience is very difficult task. That too, the audience, those who are very busy in teaching and research. But as I'm seeing now, the enthusiastic audience, so many participants in this FDP, even though it is the last week of this program. So I congratulate the team once again for this effort and our efforts, and also the members, those who are participating in this particular FDP. I like and also admire your constant enthusiasm towards learning the pedagogy and how to teach different subjects. And also, I found in this particular schedule so many interesting papers, not the routine old papers, but also some new papers and also like moot court and other things. So I hope that you all enjoyed this particular program. Talking about my particular topic, that is legislative drafting, I hope I will like satisfy your eager to know about the new subjects. Let me share my slides here. I have prepared few slides. So as the title of today's topic itself is clear that I'm going to talk about the strategies for teaching legislative drafting, particularly in Indian law schools. So the legislative drafting, the paper's title itself shows that it involves the drafting skill as well as the substance, that is with regards to how to make a law. The legal knowledge is also required in this regard. Not only the drafting skills, not only the skill related to language. So I'm going to discuss about the importance of this particular subject and how the subject has been dealt nationally, internationally, and how many law schools are offering this particular course. Also, I'll be talking about that how to draft the syllabus, how to design the syllabus, and how to plan the internal assessments. And also, I'm going to talk about that various literature, whatever is already available in this particular area, and the eminent speakers and resource persons in this particular area. But before going to start with the topic, I just want to take few minutes because as the coordinators already introduced me, but let me introduce about my institution. Talking about KIT University, maybe many of you are not knowing about KIT University. So I just want to take just 2 minutes to talk about our university. Our university is ranked as 200 to 300 in the university rankings given by the Times Higher Education. And also it got the Institute of Eminence rank and also it got 5 stars. So not only these, so many other achievements done by KIT University, hopefully sometime you all visit our university. Talking about another sister university, that is KISS, KISS. This is a very like different kind of school or organization where 30,000 indigenous students are given free education. This is our sister university run by our honorable founder Achyuta Samanta, and these both institutions started at the same time and developed in the same pace. As you can see that now the strength is 30,000 students, indigenous students from LKG to PG, everything is free for those indigenous students. And recently this university also got the status of deemed university. This is the first tribal university in India. Talking about our KIT Law School, KIT Law School particularly in NIRF ranking, it is constantly doing well. And in 2021, particularly, it stood 10th in place. And in the recent rankings, also 11th, 12th. So all through the ranking was maintained. And also we got an award from President for legal innovation education, particularly the skill components, what we incorporated into our syllabus, that was recognized by Vice President, and we got a medal for that particular purpose. And also, I want to tell you here, we got 2 BCI moot court winning teams from the last 5 years. So this is also a particular achievement of KIT Law School. Okay, this is all about our law school. Going on to the topic. So if you see the quotations given here, they talk about how legislative drafting is different from all other courses. So legislative drafting is like a weather it is like it easy to assess, but it is very difficult to improve. And also, if we look into the second one, it is talking about I'm the parliamentary draftsman. I compose the country's laws, and I'm undoubtedly the cause of half of the litigation. So these two statements will make you understand the significance of this particular course. So it is not like any other course what you have been through this particular month, but this is very different. So it is like a whether it is very easy to talk about, but it is very difficult to improve. And if we look into the other statement, it is a bit big statement, but still I want to highlight the important part for you people here. Sorry. So here, this statement is highlighting the result of poorly drafted statutes. What is the impact of poorly
Madam,
drafted?
madam, sorry for interruption. Are you moving slides?
Yes, I am
Still,
moving slides.
okay, ma'am. It's on slide number 1 only right now.
Oh, it is not moving,
No, no, ma'am.
but
So
I
I
am
think,
moving and I reached to the fourth or fifth slide.
okay,
Is
okay,
there
ma'am.
any
It's
problem with my network?
it's on the still on the first slide.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
You can go for some slideshow mode and then you can try.
Yeah, the slideshow mode only. I am using slideshow mode.
Can
So
you
I'll
go
go.
to the first one? Okay, first now click on the second one.
Is it moving
No, no, ma'am. I think from the left
now?
side you can do left side, ma'am. You can do from the bar itself.
Yeah, from the bar itself, I am using
Not
it.
moving. No, no, no. Still it's on the first slide.
Oh, so shall I stop sharing and redo it?
Yeah, ma'am. Please try.
Okay. Yeah, I'll share it once again. Is it visible now?
It's visible. I think it's slide number 7.
Okay, now I'm going back to the
Yeah,
first
ma'am.
slide. Just see. Now my slides are moving.
No, 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 no. Still it's on the 7th one. Need and scope.
Oh. I don't know. I'm right now in the first slide, but it is showing their seventh slide.
Okay. Madam,
What
do
is
one
the
thing.
problem?
Just mail me that slide. I will operate from my side.
Okay, okay. Okay. Just a minute, I'm sending. I have sent.
Okay, madam, are you able to see?
Thank you. You
It's
can go to
uploaded.
directly to the 4th slide. Because we finished 3 slides.
Participant, I hope you are able to see.
Yes,
You
yes.
can raise your hand.
Yeah,
This was,
it
yeah,
is
you can
visible and
press
it is
here.
also, yeah, moving.
Okay, so slide number 5.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, over to you.
Okay, okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. Maybe some problem from my end. Now it is solved. So I was talking about the significance of this particular paper. So by going through these particular statements, we can understand that how legislative drafting is having its own importance. And the second statement particularly clearly says that if the legislative draftsman makes any kind of mistakes, then it may be possibly go to a litigation. Moving on to next slide. Here, the statement given by J. Bernard in his one of the article legislative drafting, which was published in Rocky Mountain Law Review. He says that a poorly drafted statutes are the burden not only to the entire population, the people, the commoners, the state entities, judges, advocates. Advocates also struggle to understand it. So drafting is such an important thing which will affect the whole entire state, all the stakeholders of law. So because of this, we should give importance to build the good draftsmen in any nation. So here the contribution from our side as academicians is to bring such kind of draftsmen in the for future generations. Moving on to the next slide, I have prepared here the scope and the nature need for this particular paper. Here from 1960 onwards, I was reading some literature from those days stating that there was a very severe, extreme kind of shortage for not only for legally qualified people, the local people to address their particular things, and also very, very extreme shortage of draftsmen. And also to develop draftsmen, if we want to do anything in those days in 1960s and 70s, there were no books, no literature, no manuals, nothing to just train them. This problem was faced by all countries, not only in India. All countries have faced this. And if we look into the like how people, particularly the jurists, good jurists, those who have written in this particular area, how they have explained legislative drafting. I have explained here legislative drafting is neither pure form of art or pure science, but a phonetic discipline. And the word praxis was used by some others to explain the fusion of the theory and practice. As this paper is a combination of theory and practice, this praxis word was used to explain this particular kind of fusion created between these two disciplines, that is theory as well as practice of legislative drafting. Moving on to next slide here, I have shown few of the universities, those who are already offering this particular course. These are not the exhaustive list. These are few universities where we can see this kind of course, particularly on legislative drafting offered by Northeast Alabama Community College and also the University of West Indies, Tulane University, in UK, in London, in Ottawa, in Cape Town. There are many universities. Coming to the national institutions, next slide I have explained that these are all the universities who are offering legislative drafting in India, like NLIU Bhopal, GNLU, RJNUL Punjab, Pune University, ILS Law College Pune, KIT School of Law, and RO University and Savitribai Phule University. These are the few universities, those who are offering this particular course currently to not only to LLB students in their regular course curriculum, but they're also offering this course to outsiders also, like executives, draftsmen, those who are in this particular field. They're offering to them also. Like moving on to next slide. Here I have shown certain institutions, those who are offering this course internationally. And nationally, we have our own legislative department link also I have provided here. The first one is Sir William Dale Center for Legislative Studies. This institute, this was in the University of London. There is Institute of Advanced Legal Studies and the School of Advanced Study University. So there we can see this particular center is offering courses periodically. Every year they're offering this course. And I wanted to show you this particular page also, where we can see so many legal luminaries, the resource persons, so many people are listed there, and their course is also, if we look into the course structure and their methods of teaching, everything is so good. And all over country, many good legislative draftsmen, they wanted to take this kind of course. I have seen in many CVs of the resource persons in this particular area, those who have done already the course in this particular institute. And looking into the second one, that is Institute of Legislative Drafting and Research, that is ILDR. This institute was established by Legislative Department in India. They also offer courses not only to students, law students, but also uh, advocates, or even the people, those who are already working in different departments in the legislative wing, in drafting wing, they also take courses from this particular institute. And there is also another institute, International Legislative Drafting Institute. This is in the state of Louisiana, Tulane University. They're also offering, I have gone through their syllabus and also the course structure, how they are offering, and their videos also available in YouTube. If any one of you are interested to look into, you can go through this particular link and can go through those videos also to understand the basic nuances of this particular course. Moving on to next slide. Here, if we look into this particular diagram, we can understand that this course is a combination of knowledge and with an analytical mind, and also the knowledge and skill related to the language and drafting skills. This is important. So while drafting or while designing our course, we have to keep in mind these aspects, these three aspects in our mind while structuring the contents, modules, and submodules. Moving on to next slide, we can see that what kind of knowledge, as I talked about knowledge in the earlier slide, what kind of knowledge is required? So the knowledge relating to jurisprudence, because here, while going through the content part, I'll show you the parts where all the jurisprudence relating to utilitarianism, socialism, liberalism, and all theories of legislation we are going to look into. So the knowledge about the jurisprudence behind each and every subject area is also required to a legislative draftsman. So we have to develop this kind of basic knowledge related to jurisprudence in the students. So in the entire 6 modules, almost one module, a very big discussion about all these theories are there, and also the knowledge relating to laws nationally and internationally. Here, not only the substantive papers, laws like criminal law, business law, and other laws, but also subjects like interpretation of statutes. This knowledge of these subjects is also required here, because in this syllabus, we can also see the principles of interpretation. All the principles and the cases, whatever we discuss in interpretation statutes, that particular subject also sometimes we discuss while discussing the problems what we have faced because of poor drafting, or sometimes it is a kind of a gap, it is not filled by the legislative draftsmen. So such kind of things also we will be discussing here. Because of that reason, the students, those who are taking this course, should have the knowledge of the existing laws and also the laws internationally. What are all the laws, the changes in the law internationally, like environmental policies or labor policies or whatever the changes happening internationally as well as nationally, the draftsman should know, so that while making the laws, the particular law which they are drafting should not be in contravention with any of the laws. So if it is in contravention with any law, then it will be again challenged. So because of that reason, the draftsman should have the knowledge of this, as well as the draftsman should have the knowledge of socio-economic and political developments happening in the current scenario, whatever the contemporary issues relating to socio-economic and political issues, and obviously the skill about the language and drafting. Language, it's not only English, even the local languages also, because many draftsmen do drafting not only in English but also in the local language. So this bilingual text they have to prepare. So for that reason, the knowledge in language and the drafting skills are also required in this particular paper. Moving on to next slide. So here I have indicated who are our targeted audience. That when we offer a course like this, if say for example, if any one of you want to introduce a course in your law school, you want to give a proposal, then who will be the stakeholders and how to get the audience? If we are offering it as an elective course or otherwise even a value added course, in that case also we have to identify who will be the audience. So here I would suggest that you can have this particular paper either as an optional course or an elective course or a value added course. So recently during our NAC visit, I have seen that I was a member of NAC team, so in School of Law. So I saw that there are so many points given for value added courses. So this value add as a value added course also you can develop this course and offer to not only the students of your law school, but also it can be offered to outside students and also executives also be called. So here preferably for 4th year or 5th year LLB, that we can offer this course, because the students should have the basic knowledge of all the fields of law. Because of that reason, by 4th year or 3rd year, they will be completing all the preliminary subjects. So for that reason, preferably 4th or 5th years. 5th years are even better, and it can be offered to LLM students. As LLM students completed their LLB, it can be offered to LLM students, and it can be offered to legal professionals, executives, the drafters, those who are already into drafting in different departments, either state or the central departments. It can be offered to them. Then here, if I have observed in many places, like whatever the institutions offering this, most of the legislative officers, they prefer to train their real world drafters in-house. They don't want to send outside because they will work here as well as they will also get this kind of training. So you also can give a proposal to the departments like legislative department or the legislative department of the state. You can also give a proposal to conduct this particular program, this course in their particular department. So going there also we can offer the course, and the advantages of offering this kind of course within their particular in-house is that they can also like have simultaneously the job training also will happen at the same time, the supervision and mentoring also will be there from their superiors. So that is the advantage of offering a course to the executives in their workplace itself. And here this course can be offered either in the 3 credits or up to 6 credits we can extend. In our law school, we are offering this course and as 4 credits. For LLM, it is 6 credits, but for LLB students, particularly the 9th semester students, where we offer this paper, that is 4 credit course. Moving on to the next slide, I have mentioned here about the course description, how to structure the course description. I have structured in this way, course description, or otherwise you can also call this as an object. So you can see here, legislative drafting is an innovative learning program that offers an in-depth deliberation on the principles and techniques of legislative drafting under both national and international level, both common law as well as civil law jurisdictions. And this course is designed to provide a platform to inculcate the skills of drafting laws in different forms and equip them with different legislative drafting skills. And the course requires developing abilities to diversely deal with the challenges as well as the responsibilities associated with the post of a legislative draftsman with the proficiency. So with this, you can understand that what kind of contents will be there in the syllabus. So this is the like object of this particular course to offer. Next, moving on to next slide, I have given certain objectives of this particular course. What are the objectives through this particular course, what we are going to achieve? So to provide preliminary formal training to students by developing competence in the basics of legislative drafting, and to improve the performance efficiency and effectiveness of delivery of drafters, and to provide an overview of the process of drafting a law in India and also other various jurisdictions, and to apply theories associated with the lawmaking while drafting a law, to provide students with an understanding of various limitations associated while drafting a law. These are the objectives I have created for this particular paper. Moving on. So these are the course outcomes. I don't know whether you all of you know about during NAC, they were insisting upon mapping the course outcomes with the program outcomes, and also they asked us to map the internal components also with the course outcomes. That means with what internal or what kind of assessment we are going to achieve the course outcomes. That process happened. It took many days for us to map the COPO mapping and all. So here I have created 5 course outcomes. That means at the end of the particular course, the students would be achieving these particular outcomes. So at the end of the semester or the course, the students, they can analyze the roles and responsibilities of drafting a legislation, and also they can understand the principles behind the drafting of legislation, and they can draft legislation of various categories, and they can thoroughly understand the process of drafting a law. They can also go through the technicalities of law, and they will also see how the courts, how the judgments contributed something or other thing to legislative draftsmen. So all the cases where the courts highlighted the loopholes, highlighted the lacunas of law, they all will be taught anyhow. So with that reason, they will also know that, and they will be equipped with the skill that's set to pursue legislative drafting as a career. If they want to do, they want to make this as a career, that they can do. This is the outcome which we are aspiring. Moving on to next slide. Yeah, this is the course content. Maybe many of you may be thinking that the content is so big, how to finish this within the stipulated time. But as this course is offered in the advanced level, that is in the 9th semester or in LLM, so we are not going to elaborate on each and every topic. Like here we can see that I'll go one by one. First of all, we have to discuss about concept, nature, scope of legislative drafting, history and development of legislative drafting as a separate discipline. Then the 1.3, this is very important, as I already told you, that here we will be discussing jurisprudence, particularly the very old concepts like individualism, utilitarianism, socialism, collectivism, Marxism, because you know every legislation will be based on any of these particular philosophies. So, basing on the particular law which the legislative draftsmen going to draft, they will be either following utilitarianism or socialism or collectivism, sometimes combination of two or more philosophies. So here, these philosophies already been taught in jurisprudence and in several other papers as well. So we are not going to, as such, going through thoroughly discuss about these particular philosophies, but rather we would only explain them, that how these philosophies, the reflection of these philosophies be there in the laws while drafting the laws. So that kind of thing. So here, whatever the content is mentioned here, like classification of legislation, what is supreme legislation, subordinate legislation, they already learned about it in legal methods class. They know what is delegated legislation. But in this paper, we are not going to thoroughly discuss deeply about the particular things, but we rather relate this knowledge, whatever they already have, with how to use it while drafting the laws. Moving on to the second module, that is structure and drafting legislation. So how to make the structure, how to prepare short title, how to prepare long title, what is preamble, what is marginal notes, what is heading, what is definition. So here we will be thoroughly explaining each and every part of legislation, how to prepare it. Because here the kind of principles that they have to keep in their mind while making these parts, particularly while preparing a preamble, is a very important part where the legislative draftsmen have to be very careful. You know that the judiciary, whenever there is any kind of ambiguity with regards to understanding, they will explain those terms used in the legislation in the light of preamble. That happens even in the case of constitutional law. So because of that reason, they have to be very careful while drafting preamble. So in this module, we are going to explain them the importance of module preamble, and how to make a marginal notes, how to make the provisions, how to make the purpose clauses, explanations, schedules, etc. As well as we will also discuss here in this module about the role of legislative draftsmen and the responsibilities and what kind of expectations will be there from the state, from the people, from the judiciary, what kind of expectations on the legislative draftsmen. Those things also we'll be discussing. And then we'll also discuss about a few aspects which are like the new concept. Nowadays, each and every state insisting on providing laws in their local language. So the legislative draftsmen now have to draft bilingually or multilingually. Sometimes they have to provide not only in English, Hindi, but also in other languages also basing on the usage of the law. Some laws have to be provided in local language, that is compulsorily. So all the states I have seen in the legislative department websites, they have already made this and then they published also in the official gazette. So those things also we'll be discussing here. Then moving on to module 3. Next slide. Sorry. So this module is a continuation of structuring and drafting legislation. This is part 2. Here, you know well that if we look into the supreme legislations, they are very few, but talking about subordinate legislation is so many, thousands and thousands of delegated legislation every time. So how to draft those subsidiary legislations or delegated legislations, and how to draft a conditional legislation, how to draft an amendment to a legislation, these kind of different kind of drafting, because the drafting of constitution or constitutional provisions is different. Drafting laws, those are different. Drafting criminal laws, it is having its own different set of principles. Drafting economic laws, that is a kind of different thing. So here we will categorize different legislations and explain them how to draft such a kind of legislation. So, and also we'll highlight the difficulties what we face generally while making these kind of legislations. Those are also will be added here. And moving on to module 4. Module 4 talks about uses of technicalities while drafting a legislation, usage of words, and how to avoid ambiguities, and how to do a modification to a particular legislation, and also drafting legislative sentences, usage of grammar, syntax, diagrams, and also subjects, verbs, and the other here it is more about English grammar. In this, we also talk about punctuation, comma, usage of comma, semicolon, full stop, because in law, each and everything matters. If draftsman mistakenly keeps a comma somewhere, the entire meaning will be changed. So in this particular entire module, if this module is taught in cooperative teaching along with the English faculty, and make the students to draft something in the class itself, that would be very effective. That's what we were doing in our law school. Particularly this particular module, I generally invite our English teachers, and for the other modules I invite jurisprudence teachers, even interpretation teachers, interpretation of statute teachers. So basing on the topic whatever we are teaching, we can invite someone and also have this collaborative teaching, so that the students will get the both sides. So that dimension and this dimension they can understand. Moving on to 5th module, the next slide. It talks about issues and considerations in legislative drafting. So legislative draftsmen are having so many limitations in the form of constitutional norms, in the form of human rights norms, in the form of judicial approaches, whatever judges already decided with regards to that. So there are so many restrictions. They can't make any law which is inconsistent with the constitution, inconsistent with the other laws like that. So what are the limitations and restrictions on their particular work? That has been discussed here. And here we will be taking the students to all the cases till now, whatever decided by the courts. Those are also like discussed in the interpretation of statutes, and also we will discuss some constitutional law cases here, and the human rights, the whatever the recent developments in the area of human rights, those things will be discussed here. Then we will also compare the emerging trends in legislative drafting, because each and every country is having its own trends used in legislative drafting. If you look into the common law countries, they all have same kind of pattern, and civil law countries are having different kind of patterns. So we will be doing a comparative study of the trends in legislative drafting in this particular module. Moving on to next module, module 6 will be on the processes, the legislative processes, the scrutiny of the drafts, and the pre-legislative scrutiny, scrutiny during the passage through legislature, scrutiny after the parliament process, then preparatory process, how to do this conceptual, consultative, and green papers and white papers. This entire process will be discussed here. And we have one component here, 6.5, which talks about the comparative study of USA, United Kingdom, and other countries, where we will be comparing the legislative processes, because there are certain kind of differences with regards to these processes. Moving on, after finishing the content, what should be the content? Talking about the methods, teaching methods, because not all the papers are same. Like we can go for lecture method or debate, moot court, everything. But here this paper is having a difference with regards to teaching methods. If you can see here in the slide, you can observe that lecture method we are following only for 30% of the content. Whatever we have seen in that content, we will identify around 2 to 3 modules I have shown you, like which talks about theories, which talks about principles and limitations, etc. Those can be covered in lecture method. And the another method which we can use here is conducting debates, group discussions in the class. This is also very effective, and 20%, like whatever the recent developments, social, economic, political developments, which may affect on the lawmaking, these all things can be discussed through a debate or a group discussion. Then the third one is clinical. So the clinical legal education have been in the limelight in the past few years. Not only in India, even in America and other places, we can see that how they are bridging the gaps between the theory and how the practical things are happening in the real world. So here, the clinical teaching method of teaching, stimulation, exercises, drafting, and conducting workshop for drafting, and also research writing. 30% of the syllabus can be covered through these stimulations, exercises, and also asking the students to draft some rules, maybe with regards to dress code in the college, or library rules we can ask them to draft. We can even ask them to draft the sub guidelines about ragging, anti-ragging policies. So many things we can ask them to prepare. And if at all, if they are good, then we can even adopt such kind of rules in the college, particularly with regards to dress code, so they can do. And in my classes, I have asked them to prepare a proper law as a kind of internal assessment. I ask them to draft uniform civil code, to draft the laws where there is no laws, like the recent past, the privacy bill, which was recommended for so many changes. So I asked them to write a new bill, privacy bill, with all the amendments, whatever suggested. So that kind of stimulation exercises we can do in the class, which is very interesting, and also this is very much required to get the required skill here, because this paper is not about knowing something which is very theory, but whereas much of the part of this particular course is about skill, so where we need to offer this kind of, and another 20% of the syllabus can be covered through cooperative teaching, because teaching solely with one faculty, that is not justifiable here, because here knowledge of several other subjects is also required. So English teachers can be called, constitutional law teachers can be called, the law and public policy teachers can be called, but jurisprudence also. So this is the teaching methods which we are following in our law school, and also I observed in those institutions and law schools offered nationally, internationally. I have gone through their particular course structure. I observed these are the practices what they are also doing. I have gone through some of the YouTube videos also where they were following these kind of methods. Moving on to next slide. Here I have given certain kind of books and some references. Some are can be used as textbooks, particularly this Nirmal Kanti Chakrabarti, the Principles of Legislation and Legislative Drafting. This can be used as a student book because it covers all the parts of, most of the parts of the syllabus. And some other books like Indian authors' books are also available, like Rajagopal, Vishwanath. These books are very like student, the starting learning process can happen through these books, very, very starting books. Then we can go for higher books like Cribb and also like Thornton's, this book, Legislative Drafting. This is a very familiar book in the entire world in the area of legislative drafting. We can go to these kind of higher books after some discussions completed, particularly the first module completed, then we can go to these kind of higher books. Moving on further, I have given certain journal articles which we can use while discussing the components of the syllabus. These are some of the particular journal articles written by P.M. Bakshi, written by O.P. Motilal, not only Indian but Dickerson. This Dickerson read, this article is very familiar, which we generally use in the classes. Moving on further, the other advanced materials also I have given. These are the advanced readings which we can provide for. And some new books like this eighth one, Tony Clinton Jaja, Legislative Drafting. This is actually a compilation of several articles written by Mr. Tony Clinton Jaja. He visited our law school and conducted a workshop for 1 week. So this book also gives a very important info with regards to legislative draftsmen, very interesting book. So these are the extended readings which we can offer for the students, those who want to do research, further research. We can suggest these books. Moving on further, how to conduct the assessment and examination. So in our law school from the past 5 years, we are following this. We have 3 assessments. Assessment 1 is a continuous assessment where students will be like evaluated on the basis of either research project, drafting exercises, or group presentations, which consisting of 30 marks. Then we have mid-semester examination for 20 marks and end semester examination for 50 marks. In the end semester, the question pattern, unlike the other subjects, we can give some kind of drafting exercises, like providing a whole paragraph, even punctuation, grammar, that kind of questions also can be asked. Or in the recent examination last year, when I taught this particular subject, I asked the students to draft the short title, long title, and preamble of a particular subject matter. So that kind of questions we can give here in the examinations, unlike the other papers. Other papers generally we go for theory, like direct questions or problem-based question. Here we can give these kind of exercises in the examination itself. Then moving on further, the next one. So I don't know about the other universities, but in our university, there is a policy which says that each and every paper, including the non-law papers, are to be covered. 30% of the syllabus should be covered by the outside persons. So here this is a kind of advantage to the students that they can get that kind of exposure through the outsiders, whether national or international persons, we can call them. So 30% of the syllabus here, we can call some resource persons of this kind. These are the resource persons where I found they are very, very good in this. And some of them from number 4 to 6, we have already invited to our law school. No, 3 onwards. Only the first two, Professor Helen Zantaki and Professor Nicola Lupo. We are trying to get them, but yet to get them. But from 3 onwards to 8, everybody visited. Like Mr. Gary L. Endicott, he visited our law school in the year 2016, and he was there for 3 days and conducted the workshop. Mr. Tony Clinton Jaja, I already told about him. And Mr. Anup Kumar Varshney, now he is retired, earlier joint secretary for Legislative Council and the Department of Law and Justice, Government of India. And Mr. P.K. Malhotra, former Principal Secretary of Ministry of Law. They visited twice, thrice to our law school. Every year we conduct, almost every year we conduct workshop on legislative drafting. We have a center. I'm going to show you the center activities also. So under that center, we conduct these kind of programs. They were already here. And talking about N.K. Chakrabarti sir, he was our earlier director for 10 years. So he only started this particular center and initiated all these programs, and he's an excellent speaker. I invited him even after he left once, twice to our classes. So these are the resource persons where you can use, and these are the kind of workshops, seminars, competitions we conducted in our law school under KIT Center for Studies and Research in Legislative Drafting. The next slide is also about that only. These are the courses we offered. Sometimes it is 1 week program, sometimes it is 15 days program, like that. We offered these courses. Next. So talking about some few concluding remarks about this paper. After I teach this particular paper, I found that the teachers, those who are teaching the students, should require a proper kind of training in this course, because this course is not that we can develop ourselves, study some books and then get the knowledge, but it requires certain proper training. So I think faculty should be trained in the international reputed institutions, and those who are teaching the teachers, they are conducting these programs for the teachers, not to directly to the students. So such kind of courses to be offered. I mean, the university should take initiative and then sponsor them, because I was going through that particular institute which offers this legislative drafting, because personally I wanted to go there and have that particular course, but it was too costly to go there. So if the school offers certain kind of sponsorship, then I can get the training and then I can effectively train the students in the long run. Then here, the designated drafters in the legislative department also should get this kind of programs. So as I told you already, that in the legislative department in the central as well as in states, many executives are into this directly. They are doing drafting. If they get this kind of exposure, then that would be good. Then we do not have any legislative drafting manual as such, so that should be developed. And the regulatory framework for efficiency in allocation of responsibilities among draftsmen in the institutions, that is also not available. And another thing is that Bar Council should allow the final year students that final year anywhere. Like in US, they have started recently that third year anywhere. That means they can go anywhere during third year. It's not necessarily they have to come to college and have the courses here only. They can have courses anywhere. Like in the National Education Policy 2020, we have this kind of choice that the student can go and get the credits from other universities. There is a minimum kind of credits given under NEP that they can get anywhere. So here the students also, our bar council should allow our students to take these kind of courses anywhere like in GNLU it is there. They can go to GNLU or anywhere in the even internationally also and get that particular credit in the parent institutions. These are some of the suggestions and some of the things which I look forward from BCI and also the other thing is from our university. Like that, I'm just looking for that. I don't know how far these things will be happening in the near future, but thank you. Thank you all. This is all which I want to talk about. If any doubts, you can ask now.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am, for insightful session. I already, I've been receiving messages for last 40 minutes. So, sir, great session. This is the first time because I don't think very few already listed down, very few doing and very, I would say, hardly 1% must be knowing, okay, there is a subject called legislative drafting. That time, because it's an honors paper, we are not, able to complete the main paper. So forget about this honors thing, others, extra seminar or, the optional paper. So let us, take up the question from the chat box. Participant, you can raise your hand. I will unmute you if you want to speak. Uh, Let me start from the latest one. Do legislature have any fundamental guidelines of drafting legislation?
Yeah, the guidelines are prepared by the Department of Legislative Drafting, which will be circulated internally to them. But as of such, in the outside space, in the website, we cannot find any kind of such guidelines. The guidelines are issued to them. But in many countries, the guidelines are prepared by the legislative department and issued to the public also. But in our country, we do not have. I have mentioned that in my remarks that there is no guidelines, we should prepare the guidelines.
Okay. Uh, Good evening, madam. How is the subject different from drafting, pleading, and conveyancing, as the intent seems overlapping?
Yeah, it is not overlapping actually, because drafting, pleading, and conveyance talks about drafting certain kind of documents which we are going to submit either in the court or used in our daily life. But whereas legislative drafting is drafting the law itself, the law, either supreme law or subordinate law. So here we are not going to talk about what should be the format and how should it be. But we should rather talk about the format is also there, but we follow different formats to different laws. Like we have different format for criminal law, different format for codes, CRP, CIPC. They have different. So the formats are differs from law to law. So this is entirely different from drafting, pleading, and conveyance. I can say that surely.
Surrender, sir, over to you. You have raised your hand. I have unmuted you. Surrender, sir, over to you.
Very good evening to Dr. Kalpesh ji and Dr. Kyvalya ji.
Very good evening, sir.
Today, due to certain preoccupation, I joined your lecture little 10 minutes late. Uh, but I enjoyed this lecture too much. I'm Dr. Shailendra Kumar Gupta from Banaras Hindu University. And ma'am, I would like to share with you a very interesting information that I read a report of my ex-dean, Professor Anandji, who was a legendary professor. The way back in 1964, he wrote an article in the Banaras Law Journal wherein he has pointed out the importance of the legislative drafting. And then he introduced that legislative drafting paper in LLB 3 years course. But unfortunately, today we are unable to carry on that legacy of the BHU Law School. And some of my senior professors have told me that, Shailendra, when we were students, we learned a lot. And so many clinical aspects have been given to us. For example, how to regulate the barber shops. One of my professor, Professor MP Singh, has told me that when I was the student, I was given an assignment how to regulate a barber shop in Varanasi. So we learn a lot. So, ma'am, thank you so much, and I congratulate you for a wonderful lecture. We have learned so many things. Your lecture was so sweet, and it was so with full insight. Just I have one small query, ma'am, that you pointed out the importance of jurisprudential knowledge in the drafting of the legislation, and you have pointed out that there are so many ideologies like liberalism, utilitarianism, Marxism, and all these things. So I think that a legislation, when we prepare a bill, in fact, it is a policy matter of the government. So, if the government is a communist government, naturally they will adopt a Marxist approach, and when it is a capitalist government, naturally they will adopt a liberal approach. And if there is another kind of government, socialist government, they will adopt a different approach. So, ma'am, don't you think that I'm right?
Yes, sir, you are 100% right. But here, after our constitution, we have to stick ourselves to only the preamble. In the preamble, only a few philosophies are adopted, not all the philosophies. If you want to adopt communism now immediately, if it is inconsistent to constitution, we can't do that. So with that reason, now we are not free to adopt anything. Like too much of liberalism also sometimes it is inconsistent with other people's rights. Sometimes it may not be equipping to our particular laws. Too much of idealism is also sometimes a problem. So
My point is, ma'am, that suppose if I am a secretary of the Ministry of Law and Justice and I subscribe the communism, I'm a product of JNU and I subscribe the left orientation. But it is the Modi government, and they believe in the LPG policy.
yeah.
So I have to take the instruction from the my
Yes,
boss, my
yes.
political.
Actually, the legislative draftsmen are not free to adopt anything, whatever they like, or adopt anything which is good for the citizens. But they would rather have to look into what government wants, what government actually, as you rightly said, say it is a left government, then they will aspire different things. At the same time, if it is another government, they will aspire different things. So that's why legislative draftsmen are not free to make laws as they want or as the people want. That is not possible. Obviously, it is a policy of the government. The government's ideologies will reflect in that. But the draftsman will look into whether such ideologies are consistent with our constitution or not, consistent with the basic underlying principles or like rule of law and other principles are not, reasonability and all. So that is only the responsibility of the legislative draftsman.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, ma'am. Madam, any online diploma courses of legislative drafting?
Yes, many universities are offering online courses as well, including national and international one. If you go through the links given in my PPT, you can see there some are completely online. During pandemic, this online courses they have started. Earlier we used to go there, but now online courses are also there, also available.
I think let me read out the question. Already you have answered this question. For teaching legislative drafting, do you think law faculty is sufficient, or it should by legislature or presiding officer of legislative houses, and whether judges also should be associated?
Yeah, I already told that only law faculty is not sufficient. I agree with that because this paper is a combination of many things. The skill component is too much there. So only us law faculty cannot do justice. We should get the help of all the people, whatever suggested in your question. That's why I suggested to call everyone. 30% we can call outside persons, 30% the cooperative teaching we can do, 30% lecture method. That's what I suggested.
Okay. Another question, how to convince the students about principle of legislation?
Yeah, the students are already well versed with certain kind of principles of legislation, but only convincing them with regards to how to incorporate such principles while making the law. They are not knowing that how legislative draftsmen incorporate all such principles of legislation. They have studied in jurisprudence, legal methods, interpretation of statutes, many principles, but the application while making the law, that only we will concentrate here.
Uh, Another question, how many lectures should be there for 3 credit, 4 or 6 credit course?
Yeah, 3 credit course, you can have 3 hours of lectures per week into 18 weeks uh, because the Bar Council mandate is 18 weeks. For 4 credits, 4 lectures. So around 72 lectures for 4 credits you can have. Out of which I would suggest, I have mentioned in the also that the division, if it is a 4 credit or 6 credit, you can make 4 lecture classes, 2 exercise classes, and 2 practical classes, like that. If it is a 6 classes per week, then 4 to 2. You can divide 4 to 2.
Let's participant, you can raise your hand. I will unmute you. So we'll be having 2-3 more minutes. Last question from the chat box. What is the ethics for making legislative drafting?
Yeah, ethics is also very important for this particular paper. So if we look into the responsibilities and expectations of legislative draftmen, one of the important component is ethics. Because, legislative draftsmen are somehow forced or somehow compelled to adopt the exact policy given by the government. The existing government, for example, BJP government, wanted to make a policy with regards to anything related to which is not ethical in some ways, or some ways it is like, say, for example, LGBTQ or same-sex marriage in the recent past. With these examples, the government's opinion may be different. The popular opinion of the people may be different. In that case, how to maintain the balance and how to go with the ethical issues. Some problem is there, but as the legislative draftsmen are not that much free to opt their own policies, they have to bind with the policies given by the government, but they can suggest. And also, as the things relating to law are well debated in the parliament or any legislative body, all the particular questions are addressed there only. Ethical issues also addressed there only. So legislative draftsman is not overburdened with this kind of things, what to do or what not to do. They're all addressed in the parliament, addressed in the legislative assembly while the bill is debated, or even policy is debated. Policy also will be debated in the parliament. So that stage itself, it will cross all these kind of things.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, I have seen one question here relating to simple language. Yeah, there is a kind of movement going on in the entire world about simple language. Now we are also into that slowly, gradually. Internationally, many countries have done away with that. I will give you one example to understand this. We still use Latin words, particularly for its, in the countries like America and England, they have done away with this particular tough words where the general population cannot understand. they renamed the writs. All the 5 writs are renamed in English. Very simple. Prohibition order, this, that. Mandamus is called as prohibition order, like that. So this is one example I am giving. But there are many examples where we can find that nowadays the law is made in simple language. Even the courts are repeatedly insisting on that. Make it very simple, very simple. So plain language drafting is the new norm now. And also another thing is like we use gender neutral phrases now. Not like earlier days, she, he are used. But now the new norm is, as far as possible, use gender neutral phrases. So this is also new one. Plain language and gender neutral language.
True, madam. Recently, I've been for one of the training enforcement officer at GNLU. So I discussed this thing because they came out from UPSC pass out, and then so my session was RTI. So I discussed this thing, like a proviso, notwithstanding. That's a really, we
Yeah,
break our heads, right?
yeah,
So we read again and again, then see. And I was
yeah,
reading one of the editorial article. We need to write law for Bharat. That was the article, a very
yeah,
good article by I think person at the Vidish Center for Legal Policy. That's a very good, and they come up with this thing, very good article, and then they also come up with that module also, simply how to write the very the basic way. And related to the LAMP fellowship, also student also get the opportunity to with the to work with MP MLA.
yeah.
So sorry MP.
Mm.
So so it's a very good experience for them also. So thank you very much. Yeah. So thank you very
Yeah,
much,
we
ma'am.
do have this. We go through the Thornton's book. They have given what are all the things should be avoided. They strictly said provisos should be avoided. There should not be provisos. More provisos means more complications.
True, madam. Like RTA, one of the example, okay, it should not exceed 500 words, right? Provided if exceed 500 words, it should not reject. What is this?
Yeah,
You just simply write,
yeah,
writing.
yeah, yeah,
There is a second paragraph,
yeah,
the contradiction is
yeah.
there.
Even in constitution, provisos are very difficult to understand. Very difficult.
So thank you very much, ma'am. We are concluding session here. I request Dr. Nisha to give a forum vote of thanks. Ma'am. Thank you. Dr. Nisha, over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. A warm and grateful evening to our most valued guests and all the participants. It's my privilege to have been asked a proposal of vote of thanks. I, Dr. Nisha Amol Chavan, on behalf of entire team of this FDP, extend my most sincere gratitude to the respected Dr. Kyvalya ma'am for provided such as an intellectual feast. Ma'am guided us how to use innovative ideas while teaching legislative drafting subject. I also grateful to Dr. Kalpesh sir for his minute-to-minute guidance and support and for providing encouragement at every point of time and his continuous effort to make successful of this FDP. I am also thankful to Pooja, Utsavi and entire team of FDP for their enormous cooperation in the organization of this gala event. I also extend my thanks to all participants who joined from different part of the country who present here, and I'm also thanks a lot to one and all directly and indirectly involved in this FDP. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.